All right, I'm back. I mean, a lot has changed. The world is very different. But in the spirit of Halloween, I decided to, well, Emily decided, she's the one that makes these decisions. I'm just a pawn in her game. She decided that we're due for a spooky cooking video. And considering that 2020 is already pretty spooky, we're doing something A, quite simple, B, pretty sweet. It's a cold, rainy fall morning, so I'm clearly very put together. It's very cozy. You could say that my costume for this Halloween is 2019 Julio. A Julio that didn't worry about so many things. There were no elections or pandemics or an awareness of bigger issues. So there you go, 2019 Julio. Hello, sir, nice to meet you. May I shake your hand? Yes, Mom, I'll give you a hug. See, a Julio that didn't care about anything before. All right, so we're gonna get going. This is a fairly straightforward, pretty simple recipe. For some reason, I decided that I needed to complicate things for myself by making 3 versions of the same thing. So today we're gonna be making CBD gummies. CBD gummy candy. Homemade CBD gummy candy. Look at this homemade CBD gummy candy. This guy has a secret recipe for CBD gummy candy and doctors hate him for it. Okay, so for starters, we're gonna start with some gelatin. So if you're only making one flavor of this recipe, you'll need half a cup of gelatin. Now, if you're a vegan, as I've mentioned before a million times, I'm a vegan, so I can't do gelatin. So in this case, I'm using agar powder. So there's that. Got it on Amazon for like $7. And then there's other options. There's carrageen, there's vegetable gel, there's all these other options that are here on your screen. Look at so many options. Look at all of them. I remembered all of these options. Look at them. Look at this one in particular. Wow, this one's crazy, right? All right, regardless of what thing you're doing, in the description we're putting the conversion. So for example, 1 teaspoon of this is the same as 1 teaspoon of gelatin, but the carrageen and the vegetable gel have different proportions, so they're all in the description. Emily's gonna take care of all that jazz. And we're gonna start by, if you're making only one version of this, you're gonna put half a cup of water in a bowl. In this case, I'm doing half the recipe for 3 different flavors. So I'm gonna put 1/4 of a cup of water in each bowl, and then 1/4 of a teaspoon. Yeah, 1/4 of a teaspoon of this powder in each bowl. Okay, I can't find the normal ones, so we're using the fancy ones. And I haven't tried this recipe before. Emily is the one that came up with it. And so if this goes awry, Emily's responsible for it. All right, so it's opposed to 1 teaspoon coagulates 1 cup of water. So in this case, 1/4 of a cup, 1/4 of a teaspoon. And we're gonna use the ever faithful tiny whisk. It's not really mixing. It's like the powder sinking to the bottom. So we're gonna put this to the side and we're gonna give it a few minutes just to see what happens. All right, next, we're gonna make our flavoring. So for this recipe, if you're only making 1 batch, you would be using 1.5 cups of fruit juice or coconut water. But in this case, I'm using 3/4 of a cup because I have a recipe for 3 different flavors. And so Emily called for fruit juice. This is Halloween. Listen, if you wanna be healthy, if you wanna, offer your kids or kids in your neighborhood the best quality of product that you can offer, that's awesome. But I have a tired soul, so I want something that's gonna comfort my soul. So I went with 1 relatively natural option and 2 fun ones. So I went with cranberry juice, and then we have orange mango juice, and we have some vitamin water. So this is what I'm going with. We're gonna put the flavors in each pot, and at this point you would add 1 teaspoon of honey to the full recipe. In this case, half a teaspoon. And obviously I'm not gonna use honey, so I'm gonna use brown sugar. Okay, now we're gonna put this on the stove on low heat until the sugar fully dissolves. We're gonna give it a quick whisk, and then I'll come back when they're all fully dissolved. For this, you're gonna need molds. While we have that heating up, let's talk about the molds. I got these on Amazon for, I don't know, it was something like 20 bucks. The brand is called Fantasy Bear. Now, I've never had any intimate encounters with a bear, but I know for a fact that's not one. That looks like if a cat and Casper the Ghost had a baby, it would look like that. So in this case, but you know, I'm such a radical, cool dude. I think outside the box so much. So I got Lego shaped ones. So we have these guys here, and we have building blocks. All right. All right, those folks are pretty close. Now we're just gonna wait for 3 minutes. How have you been? Cool. All right, these are ready, so we're gonna put them to cool just for 5 minutes. In the meantime, we're gonna check on this water. Okay, so I just checked the instructions of the agar powder, and it says that it needs to first boil and then let to cool. So just gonna pop it in the microwave. Okay, the powder has fully dissolved in the water that's warm. I mean, that makes sense, I suppose. All right, these need to cool down according to the instructions, so I'm just gonna put them in the freezer real quick. Okay, in the meantime, we're gonna prepare our molds. Okay, we'll be adding a tiny bit of CBD oil into each one of these. Okay, these have somewhat cooled. I think a smarter man would leave them to cool for longer, but all right, so now I'm gonna pour these flavorings into the bowls. Give it a little mix. If you were using coconut water, this would be the moment to add your food coloring. There's our blue, and there's our yellow. Okay, we're supposed to let them cool for 5 minutes, so I'll BRB. All right, so I just went through my kitchen and I found this. We have this for some reason. Pretty weird that we have this for no reason. But I figured this will work. So I'll use this to fill in the tiny molds. I think we have a tiny ladle. There you go. So I'll use this combination of, oh, and actually I had an idea. So we're gonna have to refrigerate this, and instead of grabbing them like this, which just feels like a recipe for disaster, there you go. I'll use an old plate, and then we'll put them on the plate, and then this can go into the fridge by itself. Wow, look at that. Oh. Okay. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Ooh, you know what? If you remember from the dog treat video, we have these and we use these as molds. These will work just fine. Okay, cool. Then now we have tons of candy. And now oh, the blue one started coagulating. Now we're gonna refrigerate this until it hardens. So, just one quick note. Once you put things into the fridge, I did notice that the CBD oil and the water-based liquid that we poured into the molds weren't really mixing. So I grabbed a little popsicle stick and gave them a little stir, and then they were fine after that. So, all right. So let's investigate how they went. Okay, so we have these. They came out pretty good. They're dripping because it's the one that we tested, but the red ones have set everywhere. And so, yes, Ramsey, are you hungry? You want jelly candy? Hey, this little guy. Oh, I killed him. Sorry. And there you go. Hey, this little fella. Came out pretty easily out of the mold. It's quite tasty, but it's definitely not like a gummy. It's more like a jelly candy. It's quite tasty. That was pretty good. That was pretty easy. It's nice to be back. I'm sorry that I'm exhausted. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Please make sure that you try it out and you let us know how it is in the... Oh, actually, I forgot. My girlfriend gave me a suggestion on how to make this spookier. Mist and fog. There you go. The link for the full recipe on our website, sourcecbdhemp.com. And please, please, please subscribe to this channel so that you get let know every time that we upload a video. And in the meantime, take care.